First, I want to kind of take a moment here to reflect on all that's happening in the country, the Washington swamp. You know, for the first time in decades, real common sense, sanity is returning to our government. But don't expect the extreme radical left, the Democrats, the state-run legacy media mob to ever appreciate anything Donald Trump ever does. If he cured cancer tomorrow, they would still call him Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, and a racist. And now they extend that same warm welcome and courtesy to Elon Musk. Look, I don't usually agree with Jon Stewart, nor does he agree with me. I don't think he likes me, but I don't care. At least Stewart has enough intellectual honesty in him to realize the Democratic Party, they have lost the plot. Hook, line, sinker, gone. Take a look.
I'm very big on, and I know it's annoying, but specificity and nuance. And I think if you cry fascism at every administrative overreach, even the ones that are constitutionally okay, you will find yourself out of fascism bullets when the time really comes to remind people of, because you will, I think what the media has done over the last 10 years is cry wolf to the point where they numbed everybody. It was an anesthetic.
He's dead on accurate. Can't argue with that. Democrats who cried wolf are not doing themselves any favors. Look, I argue maybe Fetterman's the only example. I argue almost the entire Democratic Party has become this woke Green New Deal extreme ideologues. In fact, look at this new Quinnipiac poll. Congressional Democrats are at their lowest approval rating in history at 22%. And meanwhile, a majority of Americans trust Donald Trump and Elon Musk to rein in our federal government. Trump has been regularly polling in the mid-50s. Rasmussen this week had Musk at an approval rating of 55%, and all for good reason. You know, in the course of meeting Elon Musk, I talked to him on the phone, never met him. It's not his money that impresses me, although it's pretty impressive, right? It's his incredible intellect, love of life, hard work ethic, incredible, brilliant brain power, accomplishments that any objective, clear-thinking person with common sense would be impressed with. This is a guy who's done incredible things for our country, for humanity. You know, think about what he's accomplished in his life. PayPal, Tesla. You'd think liberals would love Tesla. Now they're mad at Tesla. Starlink, he's got robotics. Starlink makes satellites available, communications available in over 100 countries. He was the chief engineer at SpaceX. You've got to be pretty smart to do that. This is the first company to launch astronauts into orbit, first private company. He dreams of going to Mars and so much more. In fact, Musk is sending SpaceX to rescue the American astronauts that are now stranded on the International Space Station. They're only supposed to be there 8 days. They're there over nearly 300. He also founded Neuralink. This blows me away. And a revolutionary company working in part to use AI to end blindness. And he's quick to help our fellow Americans in need, you know, like the people in North Carolina that had no communications. He sent Starlink over immediately, did the same after the California wildfires. So you got to ask yourself, and why? Why all this hatred? Why the rage from the left? Well, all right, first, the obvious, he's working with Donald Trump. They hate the sight, name, mention of Donald Trump. They get triggered. And number two, and they should really be embarrassed by themselves over this, because we played for you the other night. We played, let's see, Al Gore, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. You know, Washington has been talking about and giving lip service to eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse and corruption now for decades and decades. And let's look at your screen. Look at this. Look at this waste. You know, this is what Doge and Elon Musk have uncovered so far. Billions in wasteful, horrific spending. Steve Miller was on Fake News CNN and asking, why are you not celebrating this accountability? Kind of epic. Take a look.
This president, for the first time in history, is committed to restoring accountability at every level of the federal government. You may assert there's no waste in the Pentagon. You may assert there's no waste in
Stephen,
Treasury.
I'm not
you may assert there's no waste in HHS.
That, Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted? Every day that no action is taken, the entire
Stephen, let's calm
salaries
down.
of American workers that are taxed disappear forever.
Now, I spent years of my early adult life living paycheck to paycheck, years and years. Wasn't fun. Keep in mind, the average American makes 66 grand a year. We have over $37 trillion in debt. That is not sustainable. Now, if smearing, slandering, this American that is working for free to fix it, if this is the hill the Democrats want to die on and rob our children and our grandchildren of their future using your hard-earned tax dollars to pay for DEI musicals, transgender surgeries, LGBTQ, and wasting billions upon billions with shady left-wing NGOs and the radical Green New Deal, have at it, if that's what you represent. The Democratic Party this extreme would never win another election. But what worries me is that if the left keeps treating people like this, F Donald Trump, F Elon, and the ridiculous, predictable singing and screaming and slogans, they've been chanting since the 1960s. They're like in a time warp. Ask yourself, how many Americans in the future that are this successful are ever going to want to sacrifice massive amounts of money and want to serve their country? And look at after all they have done to Donald Trump and all they said about him, Jon Stewart nailed it. Guess what? Democracy won. Democracy's on the ballot. Yeah, well, democracy kind of lost the battle then by the American people. And they spoke loudly. And all this noise, has rendered the legacy state-run media mob irrelevant because they don't tell the truth. And they just, they bubble and fizz like Alka-Seltzer and water at the very sight of Donald Trump. Who's strong enough and willing to put everything on the line for service to their country? Now, we're kind of lucky and thankful. I'm a conservative. You can disagree with me politically. I don't care. But Donald Trump, Elon Musk are now sacrificing a lot. Trump risked it all. They're sacrificing for the good of the country because that kind of spending is unconscionable. It should shock the conscience and the soul of a nation. But after this latest wave of smears, I'm sick of the oh-so-pious Democrats. They always have a monopoly on compassion and a love of science and progress and innovation. Did I forget to mention that Elon has a robot company and that will take care of menial tasks? And probably by the time when they go into mass production, maybe most of the middle class in this country will be able to afford it. All while ruthlessly, they just want to tear down one of the great innovators in American history. The Democratic Party, they've just completely lost their way. Tonight, honestly, I'm going to be frank. I'm grateful that they graciously, meaning President Trump and Elon Musk, answered my questions about conflicts of interest. The stupid question, I had to ask it. I'd get slaughtered by the media. Who's in charge? That was not not a hard answer to figure out. They know who's in charge. And they can't stop obsessing over Donald Trump. Now they can't stop obsessing and hating on Trump and Elon Musk. And they even were, I had no idea going into this interview. I'm grateful. I had no idea how long this interview would be. They allowed me to spend more than an hour speaking with them at the White House and then more time behind the scenes. I had no idea going in, how long I had with them when we started. I'm lucky they did stay long as long as they did.